welcome back. I'm your host Kate and you're watching me from Iran Daily Newsfeed. At the Normandy summit, the foreign ministry spokesman of Islamic Republic Saeed Khatibzadeh threatens Israel again, telling Maariv national daily newspaper, Israel has carried out attacks that were intended to destroy our nuclear program for peaceful purposes. It murdered nuclear scientists and harmed the Iranian people. Iran is accused of terrorism, but there is no good or bad terrorists. The whole crisis in the region is Israel's fault. The representative of the Supreme Leader in Fars province, Lotfollah Dezhkam, is another official that threatened Israel, described the destruction of Israel as an important issue in which the United States, with the help of Tel Aviv, seeks to delay it. Recently, the IRGC Air Force's commander, Amir Ali Hajizadeh, has threatened the Jewish state and said Israel should look for a place to live in the United States, Alaska, or Europe. Threatening remarks by the Islamic Republic's military officials are the latest manifestation of the Islamic Republic-Israel dispute. Meanwhile, officials of the Islamic Republic, such as its Supreme Leader Ali Khamenei, have called Israel a cancerous tumour and called for its destruction. Former President of the Islamic Republic Mahmoud Ahmadinejad has also been repeatedly threatening with the destruction and removal of Israel from the world map. Since Ayatollahs took power in Iran, the Islamic Republic has destabilized the region and endangered global security by supporting terrorist and proxy groups, both financially and military. The aging population in Iran has been hit by the consequences of high prices, economic crisis, and minimum pensions. Half of the country's elderly population do not have a pension, as only about 45% of them receive a pension and 11% of the elderly are tenants. According to studies, about 85% of Iranian elderly people live with their families and they consider their financial situation as average or poor. High inflation and unpaid wages are also the big challenges that Iran's aging population is confronting today, as the Islamic Republic has set the national minimum pension for them. On the 40th day of his hunger strike, the infirm imprisoned monarchist Khaled Pirzadeh reported being in a derelict state of physical health. Khaled began his protest on August 23rd this year in defiance of parole denial, while he must be granted based on the law. Being kept among inmates convicted of dangerous crimes and inhuman treatment of his family by the Islamic law enforcement officers when the eviction order was handed over. Another infirm imprisoned monarchist and constitutional activist who is being held at Rajak prison, Soila Hijab, has said to be in excruciating health condition to the hunger strike she is on. She started her resistance to protest against the increased security pressure and the influence of intrigators and judicial officers in the case of political prisoners. During the past few days, she had fainted due to hypertension and is suffering from problems in her stomach. Even before the start of her hunger strike, she was already suffering from kidney failure, but on the order of Amin Vaziri, the assistant prosecutor in charge of political prisoners, she was prevented from being sent to the hospital. Meantime, due to positive PCR tests, the monarchist prisoners Arsham Rezai and Reza Mohammad-Hosseini, who was locked up in penitentiary, were said to be locked up now in the quarantine section of the prison. At least 6 men have been executed in Adalabad prison of Shiraz, southern Iran, for alleged drug-related crimes and murder in the past weeks. Iran is placed among those countries known for its capital punishment. The Islamic Republic executes those young who were convicted of murder when they were under 18. According to Amnesty International, excluding China, 88% of all recorded executions took place in just 4 countries: Iran, Egypt, Iraq, and Saudi Arabia. Amnesty International says using the death penalty against someone who was a child at the time of the crime is prohibited under international human rights law and violates Iran's international obligations. And that was all for today. Thank you for the privilege of your time.